All right. We're going to start with our anchor song, Come, Come, Whoever You Are. So sing it together with me, and we'll repeat it. Come, come, whoever you are, wonder, worshiper, lover of living. Ours is no caravan of despair. Come yet again, come. One more time. Come, come, whoever you are, wonder, worshiper, lover of living. Ours is no caravan of despair. Come yet again, come. Awesome.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Ben Basili. My pronouns are he and him. I'm your worship associate today on this beautiful Sunday, and we're very honored to have you here today. Yay. Now, Kim has volunteered to be our chalice lighter today, and we are going to light our chalice now. Oh, well, stand by. There is a blurb. Stand by. And it may be, but it is not. Okay. We light this chalice for the ones who arrived disheveled, carrying questions, contradictions, grief half-healed, and dreams still raw. You deserve a place that welcomes your becoming, that knows your fire is not too much, your silence not too little. A place that sees your shadows and still reaches for your light. You deserve a community that listens when you speak your truth, that sits with you in turmoil and rises with you in joy, that believes in your voice even when it trembles. You deserve a circle that brings you hope and coffee and poetry. We have all of that today. A place to rest, a place to rise. Let this flame be that place, not perfect, but possible, not without cracks, but full of light. Welcome home. Thank you. Now, arise physically or in spirit, and we will sing Spirit of Life together. Spanish and English.
Good morning. My name, my name is Gail Rushford. I am the other worship associate for this service today, and just wanted to introduce our call to community, which we will keep brief. I did want to mention that these issues are in your order of service, but we don't have a Wednesday night program this week. I think there's 5 Wednesdays this month, and we just don't have one planned for this week. Next Wednesday, August 5th, our worship committee meets at 5 o'clock here and on Zoom. And you can let Petra and I know if you have any interest in that. And then there's dinner worship at 6:30. That will happen, and Macy is coordinating it. She's going to bring pasta, and people bring their own toppings, and the topic will be sharing stories, and we say that the conversation is the sermon for that Wednesday night dinner worship service. For volunteer opportunities, you'll see in the order of service that we still could use additional folks for the tech room. It's a little interesting back there, like they have a lot of equipment, and so it's really helpful to have more volunteers for that. We need volunteers for hospitality, and there's a sign-up sheet on that little podium at the back of the sanctuary. And we need volunteers for groundskeeping as well. It's a lot to keep track of here, a lot of work, especially in the summer. So you can see Ken and Dorothy if you have any interest in volunteering for groundskeeping. And you're always welcome to just go out and yank weeds when you see them. We also continue to collect food for migrant families, and that's in the hallway near the entrance next to that table. We include information about upcoming events on our website and in our e-newsletter. The next newsletter will go out next Wednesday, so check your inboxes for that. And if you have any content for the newsletter, just let me know. Moving on, we're going to now, Ben will light our healing candle for us. And our words for the healing candle are from Bell Hooks in her volume All About Love. She wrote, "Rarely, if ever, are any of us healed in isolation. Healing is an act of communion." As a congregation, we come together in many ways. Through collaboration and commitment, we support one another. Our ritual of joys and sorrows allows us to put that into tangible practice. Our Joys and Sorrows book is an opportunity to share with everyone here something that is occurring in your life, whether that be an ongoing source of grief or something that made you smile, made you happy. Those are good. Before the beginning of service, the Joys and Sorrows book is available to anyone who wishes to write down a personal joy or sorrow to share. And we keep it also on that podium that sits at the back of the sanctuary. So let's see what we have for today. From Dorothy and Ken, "We are so grateful to be back home and see our church family. We missed you all." We missed you too. And a joy from Ron and Alicia. "We welcomed a new goat, Bree, and a new dog, Spike, to the farm. So their family is growing." And let us say our brief prayer. It begins, "You are not alone. We are holding it together." So as a congregation, we value interdependence. Sharing joys and sorrows through words and rituals is a part of what that means to us. And we have a ritual of dropping stones into our joys and sorrows bowls. So for those who may not be familiar, we have stones that we keep at that back of the sanctuary. Is a very busy place. So we keep stones at the back of the sanctuary, and they're on 2 little tables, and they're in different colors, and people just choose whatever speaks to them. You can choose them in the beginning, as you're walking in, and hold it with you until we reach this point in the service and just really fill it with your intentions. Or you can go back and collect one before we begin our ritual. In our ritual, we call you forward. People can come through either side, and we have 2 different bowls of water where our joys and sorrows can intermingle and be shared with one another in community. In this moment, you are welcome to come together and whatever way feels best to you with your stones and the bowls.
Not yet. You ready? As long as you finish strong.
That's right. We value flexibility in this congregation. It's very important. So we have a reading today for our sharing of abundance. It's titled All Voices by Jo Van Roo. In our world, many voices are silenced. Many truths remain unspoken because the speaker fears rejection, judgment, or worse. Our financial offerings today help sustain this congregation as a place where all voices can be heard, where truth can be spoken without fear, where vulnerability is met with compassion. We give in gratitude for this beloved community and with hope for a world where more voices can speak their truth. The ushers will now pass our plates to receive your gifts. Please repeat after me. It is a blessing to be.
It is a blessing to be.
It is a blessing to be here.
It is a blessing to be here.
It is a blessing to be here now.
It is a blessing to be here now.
It is a blessing to be here now together.
It is a blessing to be here now together.
When the idea for a poetry-centered service was pitched in the worship committee meeting a couple of months ago, I thought, what a wonderful idea for a service. And among the reasons why it's such a great idea is it really lends itself, as we're all about to see, it really lends itself to a lot of participation from you folks, all the members of our congregation. We're really grateful for those who signed up. Just a slight little personal note. My degree is actually in English literature, and so I've always loved poetry, and that idea really got me excited, and I think we'll all enjoy this and be blessed and edified by it this morning. And we do have several folks who signed up, and if you didn't sign up and you actually have a poem, you are welcome to participate today, time permitting. And I think we'll be good on time, although I just don't know how long folks' poems may be. Little technical note, we do ask you to come all the way up here so the mic can work its magic and we can all hear your lovely poem. And if that takes a little bit of fiddling, that's okay. But to hear it, and also so it will be recorded for posterity, we just want the technical part to go smoothly. And don't forget that we stream this, so we don't want the folks watching at home to be to miss your wonderful contribution today. All righty, now we're going to begin with Joshua. Just one quick note that I forgot to say. We ask you not to be wordy like that Ben fellow is. We ask you to just give us the title of the poem and the poet who wrote it, and then go right into it, okay? So please limit it to that if you can. We appreciate that. So Joshua is going to lead off today reading the creation, James Weldon Johnson.
Yes, The Creation by James Weldon Johnson. The actual title of this poem, when Johnson wrote it, was The Creation, a Negro Sermon. This is, picture yourself around a campfire with an elder telling you the story of creation. And God stepped out on space and looked around and said, I'm lonesome. I'll make me a world. And as far as the eye of God could see, darkness covered everything, blacker than 100 midnights down in the cypress swamp. And God smiled, and the light broke, and the darkness rolled up on one side, and the light stood shining on the other. And God said, that's good. Then God reached out and took that light in his hands, and God rolled that light around in his hands until he had made the sun, and he set that sun ablazing in the heavens. And the light that was left over from making the sun, God gathered up into a shining ball and rolled it around and flung it against the darkness, spangling the night with the moon and the stars. Then down between the darkness and the light, God hurled the world. And God said, that's good. Then God himself stepped down, and the sun was on his right hand, and the moon was on his left, and the stars were clustered about his head. And the earth was under his feet, and as God walked, where he trod, his footsteps hollowed out the valleys and bulged the mountains up. Then God stopped and looked and saw that the earth was hot and barren. So God stepped over to the edge of the world, and he spat out the 7 seas, and he batted his eyes, and the lightning flashed, and he clapped his hands, and the thunders rolled, and the waters above the earth came down. The cooling waters came down. Then the green grass sprouted, and little red flowers blossomed. The pine tree pointed its finger to the sky, and the oak spread out its arms. The lakes cuddled down into the hollows of the ground, and the rivers ran down to the sea. And God smiled again. And the rainbow appeared and curled itself around his shoulders. Then God raised his arm and waved his hand over the sea and over the land. And he said, "Bring forth, bring forth." And quicker than the hand of God could drop, fish and fowl, beasts and birds swam the rivers and seas, roamed the forests and woods, and split the air with their wings. And God said, "That's good." Then God walked around and looked around on all that he had made. He looked at his sun, and he looked at his moon, and he looked at his little stars, and looked at his world with all its living things. And God said, "I'm lonely still." Then God sat down on the side of a hill where he could think. By a deep, wide river he sat down with his head in his hands. And God thought and thought till he thought, "I'll make me a man." Up from the bed of the river, God scooped the clay. And by the bank of the river, God kneeled him down, and there the great God Almighty, who lit the sun and fixed it in the sky, who flung the stars to the most far corners of the night, who rounded the earth in the middle of his hand, this great God, like a mammy bending over her baby, kneeled down in the dust, toiling over a lump of clay, till he shaped it in his own image. Then into it he blew the breath of life, and man became a living soul. Amen. Amen.
Now Dan Lewis has a contribution for us. Come on up. Yes. No, the other Dan Lewis. Our assistant tech.
Good morning.
Good morning.
This is a poem that Gail found on the internet, and I tried all week to find an author, and it's on Bluetopia, and it says my original poem, but I can't find a specific author, and it's called The Unchristians. They weep for the pain of the wealthy and rage at the greed of the poor. They sing of the glory of Jesus, but worship the weapons of war. They scoff at the folly of science and marvel at the wisdom of fools. They sneer at the concept of kindness and celebrate all that is cruel. They question the honor of heroes while praising the virtue of thieves. They claim all the experts are lying and shame all the sheep who believe. They stand for the free speech of liars and shout down the voices of truth. They pardon the crimes of the wicked and punish the good without proof. They take away food from the hungry and health care away from the ill, still claiming to follow the Bible, no matter how many they kill.
And now Gail Lewis will follow. She and I are about the same height.
Poem I'm going to read I learned in, I think, middle school, junior high, it was called back then. And it comes from a Hindu fable. It's called The Blind Man and the Elephant. Some of you may know this already, by John Godfrey Sachs. It was 6 men of Indostan, to learning much inclined, who went to see the elephant, though all of them were blind. that each by observation might satisfy his mind. The first approached the elephant, and happening to fall against his broad and sturdy side, at once began to bawl, "God bless me, but the elephant is very like a wall." The second, feeling of the tusk, cried, "Ho, what have we here? So very round and smooth and sharp. To me 'tis mighty clear, this wonder of an elephant is very like a spear." The third approached the animal, and happening to take the squirming trunk within his hands, thus boldly up and spake, "I see," quoth he, "the elephant is very like a snake." The fourth reached out his eager hand and felt above the knee. "What most this wondrous beast is like is mainly plain," quoth he. "'Tis clear enough, the elephant is very like a tree." The fifth, who chanced to touch his ear, said, "E'en the blindest man can tell what this resembles most. Deny the fact who can. This marvel of an elephant is very like a fan." The sixth no sooner had begun about the beast to grope than seizing on the swinging tail that fell within his scope, "I see," quoth he, "the elephant is very like a rope." And so these men of Indostan disputed loud and long, each in his own opinion exceeding stiff and strong, though each was partly in the right, and all were in the wrong. The moral of this story? So oft in theologic wars the disputants, I ween, rail on in utter ignorance of what each other mean, and prate about an elephant not one of them has seen.
Now, Suzanne Black has a poem for us. Come on up.
My mother's favorite poet was Emily Dickinson, and I'm going the wrong way. I don't have a great sense of direction. Okay. My mother's favorite poet was Emily Dickinson. As far as I know, the poems were never named or titled, but mostly are known by the first line. Okay. Put my glass on. I'm nobody. Who are you? Are you nobody too? Then there's a pair of us. Don't tell. They banish us, you know. How dreary to be somebody. How public, like a frog, to tell your name the livelong June to an admiring bog.
Now, Stephen Hunt has a poem.
This is a poem by California poet, not well known. It was the poet laureate of Sonoma County for 2 years. That's about it. But this poem was written in 2011, which I think is very important to keep in mind. I don't think too many other people at that time would have perhaps predicted where we might be 15 years later. Terry Arrett, How Fascism Will Come. There's a quote at the beginning attributed to Sinclair Lewis. When fascism comes to America, it will be wrapped in the flag and carrying a cross. The poem, when fascism comes, it will greet us with a smile. It will get down on its knees to pray. It will praise Main Street and Wall Street. It will cheer for the home team. It will clap from the bleachers while the uninsured are left to die on the street.
It will rally in the Washington Mall. It will raise monuments to its heroes and weep for them and place bouquets on their stone feet and trace with their fingers the names engraved on the granite wall and go on sending soldiers to die in the mountains of Afghanistan, the deserts of Iraq. It will send doves to pluck out the eyes of the enemies, having no hawks to spare. When fascism comes, it will sit for tea with the governor of Texas. It will pee in the mosque from California to Tennessee, chanting, "Wake up, America, the enemy is here." It will sing the anthems of corporatization, privatization, demonization, and monopolization. The interview will have talking points and a Facebook page and a disdain for big words or hard consonants. It won't bother to read. It will show the books. It will lambast the teachers and outlaw the unions. When fascism comes, it will look good. It will have big hair, pressed suits, lapel pins. It will control all the channels. It will ride in the swift boats. It will sit in the Supreme Court. It will court us with fear. It will woo us with hope. When fascism comes, it will sell shares of itself on the stock market. It will get rich, then it will get obscenely rich, then it will stop paying taxes. It will leave us in the dust. It will kick our ass. It won't have to break a sweat to fool us twice. It will be too big to fail. When fascism comes to America, it will enter on the winds of our silence and indifference and complacency. And on that day, 100,000 poets will gather in bookstores and theaters, bars and cafes, in their houses and apartments, in schools and on street corners. They'll gather in Albania, Bangladesh, Botswana, Bulgaria, Chile, China, Czech Republic, Finland, Guatemala, Hungary, Macedonia, Malawi, Qatar, crying, laughing, screaming. They will wrap the sad music of humanity in bits of word cloth and hang them like prayers in the tree of life.
And now Rowan, the Dawn.
Alrighty. I climbed up on my roof to see the dawn today. It was soft, soft like the inner curving pink of a shell, soft like the rose petals are soft, soft like powdered sugar, soft like the kindest parts of love. I've always loved soft things. I'm a leopard trying to fit in a capybara's skin, a sword trying to wrap itself in silk. It's cool on this roof, but I am warm. I've worn a soft coat and brought hot tea. As I watch the dawn stretch and roll across the sky, she is bright and soft and lovely and warm, bright like the light, bright like a laugh, bright like understanding, bright like inspiration, bright like 100 voices joined in song. She's a beginning, and she makes me smile.
And now Petra Poe.
Oh, I don't know. How's that? Good? All right. For this one, I chose Alone by Edgar Allan Poe. It was published in 1875. From childhood's hour, I have not been as others were. I have not seen as others saw. I could not bring my passions from a common spring. From the same source, I have not taken my sorrow. I could not awaken my heart to joy at the same tone. and all I loved alone. Then, in my childhood, in the dawn of a most stormy life, was drawn from every depth of good and ill the mystery which binds me still. From the torrent or the fountain, from the red cliff of the mountain, from the sun that round me rolled in its autumn tint of gold, from the lightning in the sky as it passed me flying by, from the thunder and the storm, and the cloud that took the form when the rest of heaven was blue, of a demon in my view.
My plan was to, having problems with my voice, but my plan was to go with a selection from William Wordsworth, but because we have Edgar Allan Poe in the picture now, I just have to go with an excerpt from The Raven. This just might be my favorite poem of all time. It's long-ish, so in the interest of time, I'm just going to go to the dramatic finish of this amazing work of American literature. As most of you know, most stanzas, I think after stanza 5, end with that horrible word that bird speaks over and over and over. The author is looking for some little shred of hope that he might see his lost Lenore, his beloved wife, again, if not in this life, in the next. And with that word that the bird repeats over and over and over, he realizes there is no hope at all. And of course, that word is nevermore. Be that word our sign of parting, bird or fiend, I shrieked upstarting. Get thee back into the tempest and the night's Plutonian shore. Leave no black plume as a token of the lie thy soul hath spoken. Leave my loneliness unbroken. Quit the bust above my door. Take thy beak from out my heart and take thy form from off my door. And the raven, never flitting, still is sitting on that pallid bust of Pallas just above my chamber door. And his eyes have all the seeming of a demon's that is dreaming. And the lamplight o'er him streaming throws his shadow on my floor. And my soul from out that shadow that lies floating on my shore, on my floor, shall be lifted nevermore. Okay, cut scene. We have no issue with time at all. We're actually doing quite well. So some of us are going to take a second bite of the apple. So I'll get William's Wordsworth in there after all. And so the ones who have well, I know Petra. Did I? Oh, there, I'm sorry. I did, and actually Kino will get a second as well. I believe you have two. Come up and do the first one. I'm sorry that I missed you. Thank you.
And Jamie. Don't forget Jamie.
Oh, okay, Kino, come on up, and then you will be next. Either my list is incomplete, but we absolutely will get you up. We have no issues with time at all.
Good. Yeah, we haven't heard Kino's yet.
This is from a book, one of the few times a book of poetry was on the bestseller list in the United States. 1914, Edgar Lee Masters wrote Spoon River Anthology, which is supposedly people speaking from the grave about their life. Now, this one is a man who I believe we would consider Unitarian Universalist in his outlook on life. And he's Ned Griffey the Cooper. The Cooper has to know about making wooden tubs, wheels, and barrels. But I learned about life as well, working as a cooper. And you who loiter around these graves here in the cemetery on the hill, do you think you know life? You think your eyes sweeps across the sky and sees a wide horizon, perhaps? In truth, you are only looking around the interior of your own barrel. Cannot you lift yourself to its rim and look over the rim and see the outer world of things, and at the same time see yourself in a new way? Realize that you are submerged in the tub of yourself, surrounded by taboos and rules and appearances to keep up. These are the staves of your tub that hold you inside. Go ahead. Break them and dispel the witchcraft of thinking that your tub is life and thinking that inside your tub you also know life for others.
Now, I was a little confused, but do you have one? Okay, Jay's got a poem. Come on up.
Jamie.
I write occasionally when I get inspired, and I've been writing more lately. And I was inspired by the lady that I take care of because I'm home health aide right now. And well, I'll just read it, and then you can kind of guess. But it's about dementia. It's titled "Gardens No One's Seen." She sits in gardens no one's seen. She smells the sweet air perfumed with the rose and lilac. She sits and waits as the cat circles around her ankles and breaks past for a bug. She sits delighting in the wonder-filled chaos of birds and bugs and bounding felines. She sits as the world moves under her feet, her own secret garden no one knows exists. She sits and waits for her time to sleep.
And yes, we are fine with time. I think Dan does want to take a second bite of the apple.
This one I chose is a cowboy poem. I came to appreciate the genre when I worked at the Ozark Folk Center. This particular one is written by Charles Badger Clark, and he wrote it for his mother. Oh Lord, I've never lived where churches grow. I love creation better as it stood that day you finished it so long ago, and looked upon your work and called it good. I know that others find you in the light that sifted down through tinted window panes, and that I seem to feel you near tonight in this dim, quiet starlight on the plains. I thank you, Lord, that I am placed so well, and that you have made my freedom so complete, that I'm no slave to whistle, clock, or bell, nor weak-eyed prisoner of wall and street. Just let me live my life as I've begun, and give me work that's open to the sky. Make me a partner of the wind and sun, and I won't ask a life that's soft or high. Let me be easy on the man that's down. Let me be square and generous with all. I'm careless sometimes, Lord, when I'm in town, but never let 'em say I'm mean or small. Make me as big and open as the plains, and honest as the horse between my knees. Clean as the wind that blows the rains, free as the hawk that circles around the breeze. Forgive me, Lord, sometimes if I forget. You know the reasons that are hid. You understand the things that gall and fret. You know me better than my mother did. Just keep an eye on all that's said and done, and right me sometimes when I turn aside, and guide me on that long, dim trail ahead that stretches toward the Great Divide.
And Keno's going to come and give his second recitation.
In the 10th grade, we had to pick a poem to present to class. My mother had gone to a private school and she had a book of an anthology of American literature. And that's when I discovered Lucinda Matlock. I tell the story, I was in the 10th grade and I fell in love with a married woman. But I just somehow loved this poem and ended up buying the book. And 5 years ago, I got to go to Lewistown, Illinois, which is the town that this is based on. These were actually composites of real life people that Edgar Lee Masters, he was an unsuccessful lawyer, and his mother suggested that he write poems about dead people speaking about their lives, and it became one of the best sellers in American literature. But this is Lucinda Matlock has a message at the end that's very important. When I went to Lewistown 5 years ago, I discovered that Lucinda Matlock was Edgar Lee Masters' grandmother, his beloved grandmother. So, as a teen and a young woman, I went to the barn dances at Chandlerville, and we played a kissing game called Snap Out at Winchester. One time, driving home in the moonlight, in a buggy in the moonlight of middle June, we changed partners. And there in the moonlight, I found Davis. We were married and lived together for 70 years, enjoying, working, raising the 12 children, 8 of whom we lost by the time I reached the age of 60. I spun, I wove, I kept the house, I nursed the sick, I made the garden, and for holidays in the country, I rambled over the fields where sang the larks. And by Spoon River, I was often gathering many a shell to make jewelry, and I gathered many a flower, and I gathered many a medicine weed. As I walked through the pastures and the hay meadows, shouting to the wooded hills to hear my echo, and singing to the green valleys, at 96, I had lived enough, that is all, and passed to a sweet repose. Now, you people who are living, what is this I hear of sorrow and weariness, anger, discontent, and drooping hopes? Do not be degenerate, sons and daughters. Do not let life be too strong for you. It takes life to love life.
And now Joshua, or Petra has
And then
another, and then Joshua.
It has been suggested that I write a response to this next poem that I'm reading. I'm not sure who wrote it. I have a notebook of readings that I've just kind of gathered over the years, and this was in it. It's called Romancing My Old Age. If anyone knows the author, please tell me, because it doesn't, my copy didn't have the name. Do I need it to come down? There, how's that? Better? All right, I'm getting a thumbs up from the tech crew. Yahoo! Okay, so. When I am 20, I will sit in a New Orleans cafe and sip wine with myself at 70. We will tap our feet to a Bourbon Street jazz as my older self remembers her youth in a south of sunflowers and herbal tea sweetened with clover honey. I will listen as she weaves rich stories of her days spent on a rock by the river, or the wild Turkish writer with a balcony overlooking the market in Nepal. Her eyes will dim with thoughts of the man who raped her on that sticky Georgia night, or of the child who died beaten and bloody in her arms. But still, she'll say, it's been a fine life. The band kicks in to a swinging rendition of When the Saints Go Marching In, as I lean forward to pour her another glass of Chardonnay. There, my eyes meet those of myself at 70. And I will know what it is to romance my old age as she romanticizes her youth in a steamy cafe on Bourbon Street.
I'll drink to that. Joshua.
Okay, when I was in 11th grade, we were told to open our literature books to a piece by William Cullen Bryant called Thanatopsis. It's longer than the creation,
And
but
probably all the rest of everything put together.
But the teacher said, go to the last stanza. You are all to memorize it. You will present it to the class. This has become a go-to for me when a friend has passed and we're asked to get up and say something. And as I look around the room, I realize that I'm preaching to the choir with this one. So live, that when thy summons comes to join thee in moon. Let me start over again. So live, that when thy summons comes to join the innumerable caravan, which moves to that mysterious realm, where each shall take his chamber in the silent halls of death. Thou go not like a quarry slave, scourged to his. Thou go not like a quarry slave at night, scourged to his dungeon, but sustained and soothed by an unfaltering trust. Approach thy grave like one who wraps the drapery of his couch about him and lies down to pleasant dreams.
I didn't want to slight William Wordsworth, so here we go. This is I Wandered Lonely as a Cloud. I wandered lonely as a cloud that floats on high o'er vale and hill, when all at once I saw a crowd, a host of golden daffodils, beside the lake beneath the trees, fluttering and dancing in the breeze. Continuous as the stars that shine and twinkle on the Milky Way, they stretched in never-ending line along the margin of the bay. 10,000 saw I at a glance, tossing their heads in a sprightly dance. The waves beside them danced, but they outdid the sparkling waves in glee. A poet could not but be gay in such a jocund company. I gazed and gazed, but little thought what wealth the show to me had brought. But oft when on my couch I lie, in vacant or in pensive mood, they flash upon the inward eye, which is the bliss of solitude. And then my heart with pleasure fills and dances with the daffodils. Now, I'm, as far as my own point of view goes, I'm so pleased with the way this service went, and I volunteer to be the one to tell Heather that we're going to repeat this every Sunday. Attempt at humor. All righty. Our closing song. We are going to do a song that I chose. It just seemed like really appropriate. John Denver's Poems and Prayers and Promises. And ordinarily it would lend itself well to a sing-along, but in the spirit of our service today, it's going to be just spoken. Is that mic? You know what? I'm gonna do it up here because I know this mic is okay. A moment while I, okay. Go ahead. I've been thinking lately about my lifetime, all the things I've done and how it's been. And I can't help but believing in my own mind, I know I'm gonna hate to see it end. Seen a lot of sunshine, slept out in the rain, spent a night or two all on my own. I've known my lady's pleasures, I've had myself some friends, and I've spent a time or two in my own home. And I have to say it now, it's been a good life all in all. It's really fine to have a chance to hang around and lie there by the fire and watch the evening tire while all my friends and my old lady pass the pipe around and talk of poems and prayers and promises, things that we believe in, how sweet it is to love someone, how right it is to care, how long it's been since yesterday, and what about tomorrow, and what about our dreams and all the memories we share. The days, they pass so quickly now. The nights are seldom long. And time around me whispers when it's cold. The changes somehow frighten me. Still, I have to smile. It turns me on to think of growing old. For though my life's been good to me, there's still so much to do. So many things my mind has never known. I'd like to raise a family, I'd like to sail away and dance across the mountains on the moon. And I have to say it now, it's been a good life all in all. It's really fine to have a chance to hang around, lie there by the fire and watch the evening tire, while all my friends and my old lady sit and pass the pipe around. And we talk of poems and prayers and promises, things that we believe in, how sweet it is to love someone, how right it is to care, how long it's been since yesterday, and what about tomorrow? And what about our dreams and all the memories we share? Thank you, Isaiah.
Our closing words for extinguishing the chalice are titled, "Let Us Be That Circle," written by Craig Rowland, who also wrote our opening words. As we extinguish this flame, may we carry its warmth into the world, not as a memory, but as a promise. A promise that you deserve a place where your voice matters, where your laughter is treasured, and your silence is honored. You deserve a circle that sees your scars and your strength, your doubts and your radiance, and holds them all with care. Let us be that circle for one another, a community of fierce welcome, wild grace, and radical hope. Go knowing You belong here. You always have.